Bismillah. Alright, cool. Welcome to another episode of the Trap Shake podcast. I'm going to start with, obviously, my message from our sponsor today. Obviously, Human Appeal is a sponsor of this podcast. We're doing some great work with you over at Human Appeal. And we've got a lot of things planned for you in the future. So, inshallah, that will come out very soon, and again throughout the year, inshallah. Some really, I know a lot of people say, oh, we've got a lot of plans in the future, and they never actually actualize on them. We actually have a lot of plans in the future, and with this podcast and through my Instagram, we'll be able to deliver that to you, inshallah. So if you click the link in my bio, even in this description of this video, or you go over to my Instagram or Human Appeal's Instagram, you will find the link for all of the charity work. As of right now, we're still supporting the people of Palestine. As you know, the situation over there is always needs our support as an ummah. So just to get straight into things, I think the reflection I've been having recently, I had this one maybe like last night. Is this? I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to start to this thought. It was a thought I saw. I think I was just scrolling through Instagram, and when I was scrolling through Instagram, I just saw. Maybe it's just a reflection of my internal state. Maybe people don't actually feel like this or think like this, and maybe I'm projecting onto them how I maybe view the world or see the world, or do you know what I mean? So, but again, I was just going through just Instagram, social media, people giving advice, essentially what I'm doing as well on this, I guess. I'm not really giving advice, like I've said before. I'm just kind of airing out my thoughts on this podcast, almost like an open journal. And you can learn from it, take from it if you want. If you don't, that's fine. Learn from my mistakes. Look at the things that you think are negative about my character, or look at the things that you may think are negative about my way of thinking, and learn from them. Either learn from me because, I don't want to be like Umar, or, that's a good trait that Umar has, maybe I'll implement that, whatever it is. If it's an idea, because again, sometimes I have ideas and I don't act on those ideas. I'm a hypocrite, just like the majority of us. So again, I might be out here preaching, do all this, do all that. And it's like, am I even living up to my own expectations? But again, like I said, it's just an open journal. My advice to myself, my advice to my old self, my advice to my future self, my advice to myself now, it's just all wrapped up into one kind of video podcast. That's why, again, I really enjoy this, and I'm definitely going to make it. I've got a lot of plans for this project, for this podcast as well. But anyway, so I was scrolling through, and I was just watching people, and they was giving advice, and you know, there's a trend right now. Yeah, there's a trend right now, if you go on Instagram, and it's all about relationships, it's all about men, it's all about women, it's all about men's opinion of women and women's opinions of men, and how they should interact and how they shouldn't interact, and all of this thing. And I was watching one the other day. I'm not going to obviously say which one it was, but I was just watching it, and all I was hearing when I was watching the podcast was just hurt people talk. The women were talking about, being independent and blah, 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 etc., because of their past relationships where they got hurt. And the men were talking about, but I want a woman like this because I'm a high value man and blah, blah, blah. And they were talking about that because they have been hurt by a woman. Maybe because they were a bit maybe too nice to a woman or whatever. And again, the woman burnt them in whatever way. So now that is came across as this kind of like hyper masculinity rin. And I was just thinking as I was watching it, it's like the two genders. I don't even want to talk about this, but like when I was watching it, it was like just see it. Yeah, it was. Sorry, again, I'm really tired as well. I shouldn't shoot these. I've had a really long day in terms of like the stuff I've been doing, and I haven't been. Anyway, let's try and bring it back. But yeah, let me bring it back because my mind is all over the place. But yeah, the main thing I was saying, so I was watching this podcast, and the women were telling the men how they wanted the men to be, and the men were telling the women how they wanted their women to be. And again, it was just two hurt people saying their side of their story, and you can hear it in their voice, you can hear it in the way they're delivering their message, that it came from a past hurt. The women asking for, again, wanting to be independent, because when she gave away her independence to a man, he used it against her, and therefore she does not want to go through that same hurt. The man got burnt by his girl because he was too nice to her, or he was too much of a simp, or whatever you want to call it. He was too, again, maybe too feminine. So now he got hurt as a result of that. So now he's being super masculine because he doesn't want that to happen again. Again, it's very normal for humans to work like that. It's just like anything in life. You do something, it doesn't work. Okay, cool, let me change the thing. But the problem is now we're stepping into a society that is not feeling anymore. Everyone's looking at everything logically. And it brings me on to my next point of like being able to use your feelings and use your mind and your logic together. Funnily enough, just how men and women should be. Like right now we have this secret, hidden, it's not even secret anymore, this gender war. Men are going against women and women are going against men. All men are trash, all women are hoes. Like there's just this philosophy that both sides of, it's like it's us against them, it's them against us, when really man and woman was meant to be like a yin yang and have almost harmony within it, and they were meant to show us the good and the bad within us, and we was meant to show them the good. And that's what a relationship is for. And I think that's one of the main functions of a relationship on a spiritual level, to show you a true reflection of who you are. But yeah, moving on, and going from that scenario, it brought me into another scenario I was in. So I was at the horse racing the other day, and so I was at the horse racing, and then I heard this quote about this horse analogy. So I'll walk you through it. I was at the horse racing, and obviously before they do the horse racing, they display the horses, and they take you around, they gallop around first, like just to kind of show off the horses, and then they race. Don't worry, I didn't gamble. I'm joking, I didn't. But yeah, no, yeah. So they showed off the horses, and I remember there was this one horse. Yeah, no. So I'll get to that. Yeah, and there was the analogy I heard of was the horse is your emotions, and the jockey, the rider, is the logic and the rational decision maker in that relationship between horse and man. And the thing is, I think one thing you can't do when you're riding a horse is you can't hold on to the horse's restraints too tight. Just as you can't hold it too tight, you also can't hold it too loose. You have to have control over it. The horse needs to know you're in control of it, because if the horse doesn't know you're in control of it, the horse has a tendency to lash out because it doesn't trust its rider. It doesn't trust the person that's meant to look after it, which is the same for our emotions. I think at that horse racing, it showed something. When a jockey has great control over the horse, it could perform amazing feats, like how fast the human could travel as he kind of joined with the horse. Again, because he's riding the horse, he's using that raw horsepower literally to travel faster than he could by himself. And again, I thought the same with like our emotions and our logical mind being the rider, our emotions being the horse. the horse being our emotions. A lot of the things I do in my life, or the great things I've done in my life, I'd say have been motivated by emotions. So for example, with basketball, I remember whenever I got better at basketball, like I improved greatly over a summer or a camp or whatever. It was after I always took not an embarrassing loss, but more like a loss that I just didn't want to lose, like a game or something. Or even in the gym, maybe a scenario happened in my life and I was like, boom, that's never happening again. It changes from now. It came from an emotional position. And when you need some motivation, sometimes you could tap into that emotion to bring it out. I'll say this for another episode, but I use a lot of negative emotions to motivate me to do a lot of things. I don't know why. It's not good. I shouldn't maybe do it for everything, but I do it for a lot of things, especially at the gym. That's that. I go to some dark places when I'm lifting. But yeah, like I use those emotions to kind of support the goal I'm trying to pursue. But the thing is, if the horse was unchecked now, that's just a wild horse. It can be very dangerous to a lot of people. So you need a logical, rational rider. But just like the rider has to control the horse, it can't hold the reins of the horse too tight, because then it will still lash out. So it's like a give and take relationship. You have to let your emotions, you have to feel a bit. You have to go through emotions. You have to stop trying to process everything in this life logically, rationally, and sometimes just feel. Sometimes just let the emotions do what they're meant to do. Use them as well. Don't just just observe them, because I mean sometimes it's just an observing thing. Like let's say there's a passing up, like something bad's just happened, and it doesn't require you to do anything. Maybe it's just, again, time for some patience. But sometimes it's like I think Allah sometimes uses negative situations, as he has done in my life a lot, to push us forward, to get us uncomfortable, so we make adjustments and make changes to come into the form of the new person Allah is intended for us. So I think that's the main thing. I think Allah makes us uncomfortable sometimes. He puts us through pain, he puts us through hardship for us to get uncomfortable, for us to make adjustments to better ourselves, or even just maybe look at the decisions we're making in our life and think, oh, do I want to continue making these decisions because these are the outcomes? I don't like this. So Allah will send you these trials as a way to upgrade you, or to level you up into the person that you're meant to become. Like, I think I think majority of people agree, like, if you're a person where you're constantly looking for growth and upgrading of your life, again, nothing's wrong with that. When you're around people that don't kind of answer that call, you grow apart from them very fast, because you're like, oh, you like the comfort that you've got. Again, and nothing's wrong with liking the comfort you've got as well. But in order for growth, everyone knows it's an uncomfortable thing. And you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable for you to enjoy the growth process, because the reward from the growth process is way more rewarding than you just staying in the comfort zone. And like I said, growth can come on many different levels: mental, physical, spiritual, financial. Again, there's many different ways to look at it. You might take a financial loss and you get a mental upgrade. You know what I mean? You might get a more clarity on a certain situation, or maybe even a spiritual growth from financial decrease. So never look at it's never it's just one thing or the other. Like, no, you can when they say one door closes, another door opens. Again, it's the same for like spiritual and everything growth. If one door closes, another one opens up for growth. But yeah, I think that was just the thought I had, really. Again, the horse and the racer. So just maybe, again, don't limit yourself and be too logical and rational all the time. And I feel like this is a very, very big advice to myself. I think I do this a lot. I think I try to make logical. I try to make everything like a rational decision or a logical decision, because then I feel like I have some sense of control over the situation, when in reality I don't. And your heart, which is like, let's say, the core, the source of emotions, it does have a, like, you have to give it some. I mean, don't kill your heart. I know a lot of people think when they elevate or transcend spiritually, they feel like, oh yeah, that's a sign that you become cold and heartless and you don't feel anything. It's actually not. It's a sign of a dead heart. It's not a sign of a living heart. But yeah, guys, a new episode coming in a few days. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a Fajr reflection. So yeah, make sure you donate to the pages below on my Instagram or on my YouTube page in the description. And yeah, just keep supporting this, man. Hopefully you lot are benefiting from this as well. But yeah, inshallah, I'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.